Oh, Nando, I made some new changes. What do you think?
All right, Daffy, let me take a look.
I know it's a little one-sided, but I believe these are the best characters in the game.
I don't know, Daffy. It's just, it looks odd.
Odd? Odd? You're despicable!
Hey, Bugs!
What's up, Nando? Just a couple of phone doodles for you.
Oh, dude, this was exactly what I was looking for. This is just amazing.
Gosh, I'm so unimportant.
Really good, Bugs. I love it.
What?
I'm gonna take this to the
You're
art
gonna
team.
choose that rabbit slop over this miraculous art? Oh!
Hey man, you got a feather on your shoulder there.
Yeah. Thanks. Looney Tunes is a very traditional IP in the entertainment industry, right? I mean, Bugs Bunny just made 80 years old last year. So we had decades of amazing artists and talented writers and directors and animators working on this IP and making what it is today. We're still working with jokes that were made in the 40s, so Looney Tunes gags are really timeless. I grew up watching the cartoons and they for sure had a great impact on me, and it is a big challenge to work with these iconic characters and adapt them to the modern times with a fresh approach.
A ideia que originou o jogo Looney Tunes World of Mayhem surgiu do nosso desejo de criar um RPG casual, um jogo de RPG onde os jogadores pudessem interagir com os personagens de Looney Tunes de forma simples e descomplicada. Começamos de uma forma bastante simples, os jogadores podiam fazer tudo através da Looney Wheel, colecionar seus personagens, evoluí-los e batalhar contra outros jogadores. Dessa forma, todos podiam curtir toda a confusão do mundo de Looney Tunes sem se preocupar com interações complexas. Nós queríamos que os jogadores interagissem com as habilidades dos Looney Tunes, que pudessem, ao desbloquear uma prank, uma nova pegadinha, usá-las diretamente em batalhas contra outros jogadores, e dessa forma nascia a mecânica de roubo de crates, e o core de Looney Tunes World of Mayhem estava criado.
Looney Tunes World of Mayhem is about giving life and paying tribute to the classic Looney Tunes IP. Right now we're the only product working continuously with the classic IP, and that's a very specific place to be, where we need to work with both the classics and the episodes everybody knows, as well with creating new characters and new themes that no one has ever seen, and that way we can stay both fresh and nostalgic.
To me, LT World of Mayhem is about recreating the wacky chaos of Looney Tunes. Collect hundreds of your all-time favorite Looney Tunes characters and hit them in crazy combat against other players. Drop anvils, declare duck season, explode TNT, and whack huge cartoon hammers to immerse in nostalgia. The World of Mayhem is a sprawling RPG that is easy to get into but very deep to master. There are strategies to discover and synergies to activate, and collecting tools that intuitively play better together than inspired from years of Looney Tunes narrative. I find that thing very exciting.
É um jogo híbrido que mistura mecânicas de RPG baseado em turnos com coleção de personagens. Com esse jogo, o usuário vai poder ter um momento super nostálgico, porque ele vai poder pegar todos os personagens do Looney Tunes, colocá-los em batalha e ter todo o arsenal de pranks à sua disposição.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. Rabbit season! Duck season! Rabbit season! Duck season! Rabbit season! Duck season! Rabbit season! Duck season! Game dev season! Now I got you, you game developer! Fire!
Game designers are responsible for a lot of stuff, from the strategic view of the game to the player experience itself, what they do, what they feel inside the game. We are responsible for new features like new progression axes, new battle modes, and also improve the existing things that we have in the game, the existing systems itself. Not only that, we also release new content, like new battles to feed these game modes that we have, and new characters for players to have fun. In addition, there's the behind the scenes, which consists of a lot of alignments between different teams. So GDs talk to product, to artists, to programmers, to keep it simple, to keep the development cycle running, and also maintain our tools that are used to streamline the production process and facilitate every single update that we have.
A gente planeja então as features do jogo, seja elas PVP ou sejam elas PV, de forma diferente. Por exemplo, as features de PVP, como no caso da Alliance Wars e no caso da Arena, como elas evoluem muito com o meta atual do jogo, elas estão em constante modificação, junto com os tools que a gente vai constantemente lançando. Isso não nos impede, por exemplo, de lançar atualizações dessas features, como no caso do Alliance Wars, que recentemente recebeu novos mapas, ou no caso de Arena, que a gente recentemente lançou a Liga de Arena. No caso de features de PvE, como na campanha ou na Endurance Tower, a gente está constantemente investindo em formas eficientes de criar conteúdo, criar novas batalhas, criar novas situações com as quais o jogador possa engajar.
When thinking about social features, we first need to think about how it relates to other game systems and also how the relationship itself happens. If it's, for instance, in real time, or if it's not, if it's like a leaderboard that players can see information, or if they're actually chatting in an alliance group or something else.
A criação de personagens para o nosso jogo está no core da experiência. E é por isso que a gente está sempre bolando novas ideias para novos personagens, novas skills. A gente inclusive introduz novas mecânicas ao longo do processo para conseguir criar habilidades mais interessantes, mais engajantes, mais variadas no nosso cast de tons. Conforme a gente vai trabalhando nesses tons, a gente tem que se preocupar muito com o balanço entre eles. A gente não pode, por exemplo, lançar um tom novo que é mais forte que todos os outros. Todos os tons, eles têm que estar equilibrados. E isso vem muito do feedback que a gente recebe dos jogadores. A gente vai iterando em cima disso e assim a gente chega numa experiência que vai ser ideal para todo mundo.
Nosso jogo possui um sistema de atualizações que separa conteúdo de atualizações de app. É possível fazer um lançamento de um novo evento sem necessariamente interromper a sessão de jogo daquele jogador, sem ele perceber que está recebendo uma nova atualização. A equipe de Live Ops trabalha com entrega de pequenos pacotes de conteúdo todos os dias. Cada pacote desse contém uma série de configurações que vão atualizar o jogo de uma forma imperceptível.
Basicamente são duas partes, uma é a parte de config, outra é a parte que a gente chama de asset bundles. Então o jogador entra no jogo, ele faz requisições e recebe uma config. Conforme essa config está ajustada, o jogo se comporta de forma responsiva. Os assets como ícones, PNGs, modelos 3D de personagem, coisas do tipo, ficam contidos nesses arquivos que a gente chama de bundles e também são baixados conforme a necessidade. Se ele acessar uma tela que precisa de um certo asset, aquele asset vai ser baixado.
Okay, class is in session. Make sure to get my good side, which is all my sides, really. Ah, very nice. The definition, the plumage. Ah, much better. This will be my holiday card this year. No, too realistic. That looks like my uncle. Ooh, the art department. This is where the magic happens.
World of Mayhem is an RPG mobile game where you can battle your favorite Looney Tunes and also discover some exclusive tunes that we only have in the game and that are, of course, inspired by the classic cartoons.
Creating characters has to be my favorite part about working with Looney Tunes. It's a very special thing to be able to add to such an iconic IP instead of just working with what we've already got. We work closely with Warner, so they help us stay in line with the classic Looney Tunes while still being able to create something new and keeping the essence of the classics.
Big Chungus comes from a very classic cartoon from 1941 where Bugs Bunny is trying to mock Elmer. So he inflates his body and acts like him and imitates the way he talks. In 2017, the internet rediscovered this gag, but it was placed completely out of context. So nobody knows anymore that Bugs Bunny is mocking Elmer. So it's just really weird and really funny. So in a way, the internet created its own context for that gag, and the Big Chungus name came to be, and the meme went completely wild.
Working with Chungus was a little bit challenging for me because he has very little screen time, so we see little of his form and personality, but with the help of our IP consultant and the concept art team, we got it just right. The whole team had a blast working on Chungus animations, and we're really proud of how the tune came out in the end, because we feel that not only we added something to the IP, but we brought the meme to life.
Por possuir alguns elementos complexos e uma linguagem própria, a gente utiliza alguns estereótipos dos jogos de RPG. Por exemplo, a barra de vida é um elemento que é muito familiar dos nossos jogadores, bem como todo o código de cor utilizado em batalha, como o uso do verde para indicar alguma ação positiva ou do vermelho para indicar algum dano sofrido pelo personagem. Nós nos inspiramos na própria IP. O Looney Tunes é um universo muito rico, cheio de episódios e personagens muito inspiradores pra gente. Por exemplo, pra Endurance Tower, a gente se inspirou em todo o look and feel da Witch Hazel. E pro desenvolvimento de Lucky Saloon, a gente se inspirou muito nos episódios western, como no Barbary Coast Bunny, onde a gente pôde pegar como inspiração o próprio do Invisible Ink.
Looney Tunes is world reference when it comes to humor. I mean, we have Chuck Jones, Bob Clampett, Tex Avery, and so many other talented directors and animators
that were doing animated shorts for theatrical and later on for television.
So when you do a gag for an animated short for television, you have much more time to set the joke and to break the expectation, and we do not have this time in the game. Everything must happen so much faster than that.
Fazer um jogo do Looney Tunes em 3D para celular tem sido um desafio constante. Para isso, a gente construiu um rig que nos permitisse fazer poses mais exageradas, como que acontece nas animações da TV. Esse rig usa joints flutuantes, que nos permite fazer essas distorções, como o smear poses, que acontece nas animações 2D dentro do universo 3D. Esse é um projeto bastante grande que demanda a produção constante de muitos personagens. E cada personagem novo tem sua própria personalidade. Essa personalidade aparece ali durante as animações de Idol e de Ataque. Por exemplo, o Bugs Bunny Knight, que ele é corajoso e valente, mas continua sendo Bugs Bunny normal, que zomba do Def e do Elmer.
These animations are adapted to work as prank attacks in the game. For example, Bugs Bunny pulls a lever and a safe falls on Daffy's head. Sometimes when the reference material is really iconic, we study it frame by frame to be faithful to the classic reference. For example, Baseball Bugs Bunny, when he catches the ball with the baseball glove or when he hits the ball with the bat, we made those animations in the 3D model, following very closely the original reference.
Easter eggs is what we live for. Since the beginning of the project, we have always been focused on creating something new while still being heavily based on the classics. So if you see a background or a prank camera or character concept, they will either be based on a classic tune or pay tribute to it.
We have lots of Easter eggs in the game, and I'm really amazed by the amount of details we could bring from the classic episodes. For every new feature, toon, animation, props, backgrounds, and sometimes I just like to go to the city builder and pan around and look for this kind of narrative elements. The way Tess totally wrecked the Tasmanian region is really special, and even small props like the Michigan J-Frog box that's hidden in some places, it's really amazing.
For example, Frostbane Lola. Not everyone knows this, but the bear you see in her concept is the same bear as you see in the original episode for Big Chungus. And we have so many signs and brackets and bombs across our whole game that even if I wanted, and I made most of them, I couldn't point them out to you.
After so much content being added to the game, it wouldn't look like a big of a challenge to add new toons or features. But the real challenge is keeping the original look and feel of the classic episodes and translate it into the 3D world of our game. So VFX is my favorite ingredient on doing this blend working, and it's an extra layer we add on top of the animations that makes everything more exciting and ensures a connection to the original IP. I couldn't imagine a Looney Tunes game without all the explosions, right?
There's a big blend between the classic and the modern sounds in the game, because we have those classic awesome sounds created by Treg Brown, the legendary sound designer, but at the same time we are searching for the top-notch technology in audio libraries out there. So we usually work with layers. We use a layer of the modern with the classic, and that's how the audio identity of the game was born. And the same goes for the music. We have new composition, we have new arrangements, but always staying with the familiar themes that everyone is familiar with. We bring a very musical tone to the game, and we do that not by only using musical instruments for the music, of course, but we use musical instruments for the sound design. So a lot of the sounds you hear in the game, they are also musical instruments such as violins, timpani, trombones, and a lot of cool sounds like that. We also have something that is called musical stingers, and those are used as very short pieces of music that will follow the characters around, just like in the original cartoons. All of that is part of what makes Looney Tunes such a special and awesome franchise to be working with.
O maior desafio que a gente teve na produção do Looney Tunes foi com certeza ter que crescer o time e ao mesmo tempo entregar o combinado. Antes de iniciar qualquer processo de recrutamento, a gente desenhou a estrutura do time. Nossa ideia foi quebrar esse time em grupos multidisciplinares e definir objetivos únicos para cada grupo. Com isso definido, iniciamos o processo de recrutamento e quando essas pessoas entravam no time, a gente tinha um plano claro de integração que mostrava quais eram os desafios e quais os caminhos a serem seguidos. A gente usa o Nexus Scrum principalmente para a parte de desenvolvimento, onde a gente pega um time grande, quebra em vários times multidisciplinares e define objetivos para cada um desses times. Cada time trabalha em um release diferente. A gente organiza o ciclo de desenvolvimento para que a gente tenha ciclos de 3 a 4 meses de desenvolvimento e um lançamento por mês. Isso significa que quando um time está terminando um release, tem um outro time começando um outro release. E é nesse momento que a gente usa o Agile Dual Track. Enquanto parte do time está finalizando um release, outra parte do time está definindo as próximas demandas que a gente tem que entregar para que a gente tenha uma clara definição de pronto antes de iniciar o desenvolvimento.
No nosso jeito de trabalhar, os produtores atuam muito mais direcionando o time do que tomando as decisões sozinhos. Nesse papel, a gente garante que o time tenha todas as informações e direciona as discussões de uma forma que o senso de responsabilidade seja compartilhado entre todos. Cada uma das pequenas funcionalidades ou melhorias que nós trabalhamos, desde a ideação até a entrega dos jogadores, é algo que passa por todo o time. Mais uma vez, a comunicação é a regra básica, pois ela garante que todo mundo saiba o que precisa ser feito e quais as restrições para o nosso trabalho. Quando veio a pandemia, a gente precisou transicionar o nosso time do estúdio para o home office. E a nossa maior preocupação era que ninguém ficasse perdido nesse processo e que, apesar dele ser muito urgente, a gente fizesse as coisas de forma organizada. A primeira coisa que a gente fez foi uma reunião com os líderes do projeto para estabelecer um plano em etapas que considerava as entregas com menos risco e também os membros do time que estavam no grupo de risco do Covid. A coisa mais importante pra gente era garantir que a comunicação fosse eficiente e funcionasse fora do estúdio da mesma forma que era dentro dele, e que todas as pessoas conseguissem fazer isso de forma natural. No final, nós conseguimos criar um processo novo que é tão eficiente quanto aquele que a gente tinha no presencial e o mais importante, que mantém todo mundo do time seguro.
Yeah, we definitely need a plan to solve that tech issue. Wait a second, there's a plan on my desk already. What? Birdseed. Anvil? Oh no. Not again.
Looney Tunes is a big project, and knowing so is important so that we can understand that no one can look at all systems at all times. That's why we rely heavily on having metrics and having dashboards, automated alarms, so that if any system fails, we know at the moment it happens. When we are developing new features, new mechanics, we are also introducing these dashboards and monitoring to ensure that once those new systems go live, we can understand how they are performing. That's how we operate, that's how we ensure that the game is running as healthy as possible. The game usage is not linear, the number of players connected is not linear, and it doesn't follow any pattern. And we need to account for that when we are analyzing the metrics and configuring all the alarms. That's why we are using and relying on statistical analysis and modeling. We want to ensure that the alarms are not going off, say at 2 in the morning, when we are asleep. And that's why we are using statistical analysis and modeling. It's a really cool system.
Our request peaks can go as high as 500,000 requests every minute. The key to supporting this load while making the game run smoothly for our players is having a team that is performance-based. So we know that every database access counts, and applying techniques like caching, pre-processing, and using algorithms of high scalability are a part of our daily routine.
We already have a bunch of features in the game, and every month we try to add new ones. It's challenging to do that because we have a lot of developers adding code every day, so we need to make sure that this code has the quality that we want. To do that, we rely on techniques like code review, static code analysis, automatic tests, and even a bunch of manual tests that is done by our QA team. To deliver this code every 2 weeks, we use a technique called canary deployment. It basically replaces our fleet of servers slowly in a way that if some problem happens, we can detect it as early as possible and affect a few players as possible.
O nosso jogo se adapta à configuração do dispositivo, e é dessa forma que a gente consegue garantir a melhor experiência ao jogador.
A gente tem um componente que a gente chama internamente de Magic Scroll, que o nome oficial dele na verdade é Recycle List Binding, e a gente consegue saber exatamente quantos itens o jogador precisa ter na tela naquele momento para o jogo poder rodar e o scroll acontecer de forma natural, smooth, que a gente diz. Então, esse componente sabe o tamanho da tela, sabe quantos dados precisam ser instanciados, instancia essa quantidade e a partir daí ele só recicla esses mesmos valores. É basicamente assim que esse nosso scroll funciona, ele é realmente mágico.
We have a QA period before the release of new features that is handled by our team here at Aquiris, but also by an external team based in India, where we test every single feature of the game, looking for breaches, exploits, defects, and any kind of issue that could have been added during the development of this new feature. As any other step of the development, we need to be very attentive to details to make sure we won't miss anything that can mess with our players. Of course, it's a huge responsibility when you think that any defect you miss can affect this crazy amount of players, but with a team as talented and competent as ours, everything turns to be easy.
Come on, Taz, again.
Tasman.
The World of Mayhem has come a long way since its worldwide launch. It's now a mature, vibrant world full of hundreds of distinct characters and tons of daily activities. Some are less and some are more competitive. As we're thinking about the future, we're excited about the social aspect of the game the most, but also about making sure that each of these tunes in your vast collection has a word purpose. Some of the questions our game designers are thinking about are, how can we make it easier for people to find each other? How can we make social interactions more meaningful? And how can we recognize our friends' contributions in the team in the best way possible? Most importantly, how can we achieve all of that while also making sure that these gameplay editions are challenging, distinct, but also super fun? To recap, LT1's future is more social, with new gameplay experiences that reward smart plays, leveraging your full collection, meaningful collaboration with the other players, while also remaining fun for a long time.